All right, guys. Good morning. Let's go ahead and get this call going. Good morning, Zach. Thanks for being here, bro. And everyone, thank you for being here for another Technical Tuesdays. Guys, we have a pretty chill week. We've had a pretty chill week, so we're going to go through it real quick. I believe the best place to start was with the economic calendar. So I'm going to bring that up here real quick. One sec. Let me bring up the economic calendar so that we can review a little bit of what's happened this week so far and what's coming. Honestly, I don't remember when I shared it, so give me one sec. Oh, you know what? I shared it on the stream, but I didn't post it. One sec. There we go. Okay. So, okay, you guys should be able to see it on the screen now. Okay, so for the US dollar, we had some minor news. I know you guys see red folders, but very minor news. Nothing really high impact as of yet. So far this week, Tuesday this morning we had some USD news, as well as well as some CAD news at 8:30. If you trade CAD, maybe you will caught some moves there. But for now, for the time being, and the remainder of the week, I see a pretty slow week in terms of the US dollar. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. So there's no need to label it as bad or good or anything. There's nothing wrong with the way the current week looks like. Let's see here. So here on the DXY, okay, we've been pushing down quite a bit. I'm looking at this insufficiency here on the left hand side. It starts at about 99,570. Okay, that area gets my attention. It is also very relative lows to the lows that we've already seen. Yeah, the lows that we've already seen, very relative lows. So my eyes do go towards that imbalance to the downside. So really for me, I'm targeting that previous weekly low. Okay. As a Monday, we acknowledged that we had this imbalance. We traded into that imbalance on Monday and gave some slight rejection. As of now, we still have some equal lows. We have taken out previous daily low. Okay, and if we begin to accumulate to previous daily high and then distribute, that could be something that we can target for the following, for the rest of the week. Honestly, if we distribute above the highs, we have some equal bottoms to go target for the rest of the week. If we continue to come up here and show little to no signs of distribution, I do see us start a retracement that could potentially get us pretty high back, pretty far back in the range. Okay, so yeah, pretty far back up on the range. So we'll see if we end up getting the low created here for July, or if we get some more lows for the rest of the month. But for right now, I'm targeting that previous daily high right there. Give me just one sec. All right, sorry, I have the worst of allergies. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for the rest of the week in terms of the dollar. I really did like how we traded long into that on Monday. I thought that was really clean. Very easy move. Traded into this imbalance, then rejected to the downside. We didn't hit any liquidity on the downside, but we have for sure hit objectives. The US dollar this morning decided to accumulate, create equal lows. Lots of liquidity down there. Just note those lows. for the rest of the week, because I feel like we're gonna come for those lows this week. Sorry, I have the worst of allergies. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna grab some like allergy pills or something. Yeah, like allergy season's not it for me. You will not catch me outside too much. Not without like allergy medication. All right, man. All right, guys. So we gave a nice accumulation. Now, out of this distribution, I'm gonna show you guys the nice plays that we had. That we played yesterday. Actually, we were looking at some longs on indices yesterday that came in confluence with the short on DXY very nicely. But in terms of targets, you guys have it. Okay, I'm short overall. If we do go higher, I'm targeting this previous daily high in this daily insufficiency to continue going short. Okay, if we go beyond that, you know, we could start a daily retracement, but as of right now, I'm still bearish. Okay, and my overall targets for the week will be the lows. Okay, but mainly just waiting to see what happens above the highs. Once we get above the highs, then we can make a stronger conviction as to whether we're going to come for the lows this week or not. Okay, I'm going to go to NASDAQ. And give me just 1 sec. Took a trade on NASDAQ earlier. Okay, cool. So, I mean, we've been accumulating from that imbalance mentioned and that previous weekly low quite a bit since last week. My target was previous weekly high. Okay, my target was previous weekly high, and let's go to the index over here. Now, this is the overall target for NASDAQ, is this imbalance here on the weekly. Given that we're at a higher high, we came into a previous area distribution, we swept previous weekly high. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some rejection, but overall, I'm still bullish on NASDAQ. On a daily perspective, I wanted to see if we got back into this imbalance here. And we did on Monday, but then we just kind of pulled away really hard. So maybe we come back into that area again. Maybe we return back into this imbalance to just go long again. So bring that back. Here on the 4 hour, something that I noted was, or something that I like to note. Well, first, equal lows, right? The imbalance, very relative lows. Then we have a sweep of the high and a distribution after we take the highs. So this is where the divergence really came in for me today. So look at Dow on the 4 hour, and then look at NASDAQ on the 4 hour. So Dow was trading below the previous monthly high, and failed to break on the 4 hour. NASDAQ is trading above previous monthly highs and above previous weekly highs, and distributed on the 4 hour. Okay, so there's some divergence there. So really, that's what stopped me on going long on NASDAQ today. I was waiting to see what this divergence was going to do, if we were going to get a reversal, or if we were just going to get a continuation. And so the continuation was confirmed. on Dow. It took me a while to take my trade just because I needed that extra confirmation due to the divergence. But yesterday when we were here for those DXY shorts and NASDAQ longs and indices longs, we were looking at NASDAQ mainly because it had took the previous daily low. Okay, so meaning it had took the downside liquidity, needing it not to go any lower than it already did on that day. Okay, then you can kind of see here we tried the start of the counter trend here on the 15-minute. We can get a little bit closer to the 9:30 a.m. Okay, 9:30 a.m. had a nice run up higher, move lower, just to come back, and you guys will see here 9:30 moves up, comes down, okay, sweeps the low right here, and then just continue moving higher. Now this isn't enough liquidity for me to go long, so I didn't go long there, but what was enough for me was the imbalance created to the upside. So this, you guys see this imbalance here, there's a inverted imbalance right there. Okay, that's really what caught my attention inside that imbalance there, the bullish one. And so here on the 2-minute, okay, you guys can see that 5-minute imbalance is a lot better, more defined right here. Okay, and we were just looking for the sweep of the low. So this is the trade that I mentioned yesterday on the live stream. Very clean to the high. It's a nice 1 to 4. Right, and it obviously went beyond that, but you don't need anything beyond that 1 to 4. Okay, now the way that I took it was a little bit after, and it ended up coming back, hit me out at break even, and went for my target. Oh no, it hit me out completely. Didn't even break me even. Hit me out completely, and then it went my way, which is fine, because the bias really was there overall. So the targets were hit, entry point was there, and it's about those re-entries. Sometimes those re-entries will cost you more than they give. Okay, so just be cautious about those re-entries. If price leaves without you, follow the same time. Don't just dig around in the smaller time frames to chase that price. Okay, so just be cautious of that, or be aware of that. Okay, bringing more awareness to that. Okay, on Dow, it was very, very instant on Dow. I don't think we'll need to go much higher than the 15-minute. I mean, much lower than the 15-minute here. I think it was just like a nice accumulation here. Lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, and you can see right away we started accumulating. Okay, now let's go to right here. Higher high here on Friday. Okay, we push up higher. We come into that previous area of accumulation that was left behind by Friday. The one thing I really liked on Dow was the fact that we took the Asian low. I love that. Okay, because not only is the Asian low, but it's also internal liquidity. Okay, that's the high that swept previous liquidity. That's the low that swept that previous daily low. So that's my range right there. 50% and below is Asian low. And you guys can see we come into that area. And then 9:30 a.m. comes down. Takes out some liquidity again. And then just goes higher. And it just pumped hard. So then, now one thing I'll note here is the fact that Dow, even though we did pump hard yesterday, it was above the previous weekly high, but it was still below that previous monthly high. Okay, that has already been taken out on both NASDAQ and SPX. So Given that, looking at the 4 hour, okay, we're sitting right below liquidity. Looking at previous areas of accumulation, okay, and then going down to the 1 hour. And for me, okay, guys, this is like the times where I take the environments in which I take 1 hour trades. I'll take 15-minute trades. And this one doesn't really need you to go any lower than this, but here you guys have the Asian low, okay, right here. You also have 50% of this range right there, okay. Now, the way that I play these is usually if it's a large imbalance, I'll play it. My stop loss below the low, the imbalance body, okay. And now, here's where, sorry, here's where, or how I would have personally played this, okay. Yeah, I believe that's Asian low. Okay, cool. Okay, so when price action, take note of this. Price action is bullish on higher time frames, which is very one-sided. You guys have seen indices. We're bullish on the monthly, weekly, daily. Very, very one-sided. And liquidity remains. I don't look for reaccumulation, like smaller time frame reaccumulation. I do encourage it, like welcome it. If it happens, I'll re-enter. But these are the times where I enter the market prior, like on a 1 hour, 15-minute accumulation. Why? Because the higher time frames are way bullish. So the likelihood for this 1 hour, 15-minute to hold bullishness is very high. Okay, so these are the circumstances in which I'll just take it, right? I don't wait for that smaller time frame, breaker structure, imbalance, and then entry. No. If that one does present itself, let's go look here. Yeah, if it did present itself, which it didn't, then I would take the re-entry, right, as well. But it didn't. So that's how I play. I take trades like this that are very sorry. That are very they're not as clear on the smaller time frames, but when you zoom out and you learn about order flow and you learn about liquidity that remains, this type of setup is very, very simple. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to SPX, where I actually did take a setup today. Okay, I'm going to take you over to SPX. Now, yesterday, SPX had a nice bullish run as well. Okay, we pumped up from that bearish closure on the DXY. So this morning, you gotta look at price action. Okay, look, check this out. This morning you have the range from the low that swept liquidity to the high that swept liquidity. What is 50% is this imbalance here. And then what's right below 50% is Asian low. Okay. And so the Asian low was taken. Once the Asian low was taken, obviously looking for that accumulation was the biggest thing. But the reason that I waited till 10 a.m. or after was because NASDAQ was pushing way lower at the open than Dow and S&P. So whenever there's about to be a breaker structure, I just wait for that candle to close. If I see that price action is about to break, I just wait for that candle to either close or just open. Okay, so that bearish divergence was what led me to take my trade only after 10 a.m. Once internal liquidity, aka your Asian low, was swept, we have this big insufficiency here. Now, we didn't come back to the insufficiency, unfortunately, but we did come back to an imbalance. Okay, And you guys can kind of see it here, okay? You have imbalance. You have a breaker, okay? That candle that broke structure, this white one right here. I don't want you guys to try to guess it. It's that one right there, that white one right there on the 1 hour. It's a 1 hour breaker. Okay, so 1 hour breaker, 5-minute imbalance, long. Okay. Now the highs still remained. Okay, so we got 5-minute imbalance. Okay, we got 5-minute imbalance. Liquidity. Higher time frame, extremely bullish. And you guys can kind of see it right here a lot better. Long. And then closed the short. Very simple, easy. I'm not digging through time frames trying to find the reaccumulation, trying to find more evidence. When it's bullish and it shows, like, I don't question it. I just go with my bias. I follow my trading plan. I execute on what I see, not what I feel. Okay, now some of you may look at my stop loss and like, how did you get your stop loss so tight? Let's go to the 1 minute. This imbalance gets a lot smaller, but the low of the imbalance is right here. That's where I get the stop loss. All right, so again, you don't have to have like the perfect entry. You don't have to have the bottom of the move. You don't write this down. Write this down. If there's anything that I want you guys to take from today, write this down. I do not need the entirety of a move to be profitable. That's a big like myth out there, that you need to catch some big ass moves, that you need to catch the bottom, the top, like a lot of just bullshit. Write that down. You do not need the entirety of a move to be a profitable trader. The reason I tell you guys that is because even when people have profits, they tend to give all that shit back because they don't feel like they caught a sufficient enough of a move. A lot of people will catch these 1-2-3s and then go out there and look for more 1-2-3s and then give whatever percentage they just gained back, because in their eyes it wasn't an adequate enough of a move to satisfy their needs. But I'm here to tell you, you do not need that big of a move to be a consistently profitable trader. Okay? I actually took it to 56 flat, so a little bit above that. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go to 45.80 if it hasn't already. That's like the final target that I had today, 45.80. Let's go look at the higher time frame on SPX. Yeah, look at that. A little bit over 45.80. But we're going. So anyways, guys, in terms of assets on a weekly perspective, for me, S&P is coming upon my objective. Okay? S&P is coming upon my objective. 4,600, you could say, is my final objective on S&P. Dow Jones, we're taking out that high over here on the left. That's December's high of 2022. Guys, it's December's high of 2022. Okay, now if that's the high of December, then you got November, October, September, August, July, June, okay, May, March, April, March, February, January. So not only is it the high of the month of December of 2022, but it's also the high of the year. Okay, it's also the high of the year. So now you can kind of see it. Let's go to like a 6-month chart. Is it once? Let's see. Monthly. Oh no, that was the weekly. Cool. It's not the high of the year, but we're heading towards that. Let's see. 2022 is right. The high of the year was actually right here. So for me, honestly, and we've been hearing this a lot from other educators, but I truly do agree on all-time highs here soon. Definitely on Nasdaq, but I personally see all-time highs here soon. So December's high seems like a logical objective currently. Okay, and we'll see what ends up happening beyond that. But that's the final target for the week on Dow. Let's go to NASDAQ. Final objective is that previous area of distribution. Honestly, NASDAQ seems to be running for that all-time high first. Very nice. But I do see a rejection happening here. Maybe we get back into this previous area of distribution here. I mean, of accumulation here. And then to just, you know, just continue going long. So there's lots and lots of things that could take place, guys. Lots and lots of things that could take place from here to then. But really what I want you guys to do is be prepared. Like, look at the higher time frames, look at what's very clear, obvious, and stick with those things that are very clear to you, that are very obvious to you, and move forward with them. Take action on them. Don't just watch price action leave without you. Because, yeah, no, I mean, this was a beautiful trade. Again, you could hold it a lot longer. It doesn't mean, but that's all I personally was looking for. It's a nice trade, in and out. I'm done. So the way that you don't FOMO is you tell yourself that quote that I gave you guys earlier. I do not need the entirety of the move to be a profitable trader. Right? Because I know I hear this a lot. People bag on themselves a little bit too much. Like, don't don't bag on yourself. Right? Definitely don't bag on yourself, no matter what. But guys, I actually have a pretty full morning ahead of me. I have a couple one-on-ones to attend to. Yep, I have a couple one-on-ones here in a couple minutes. So in this next, 10 minutes, I want to give it to you guys. What do you guys want to go over? Do you guys have any questions, comments, or observations? Do you guys have, anything that you would like to review, a trade that you would like to share, any setup that may be in question, any asset that you have maybe confusion on? I'm going to give this time to you guys so that way you guys have time to ask some questions, comments, or make any observations. Gold? You know what's funny, bro? I know damn well you don't trade gold. Yeah, that's what's funny here. It's like, I know damn well you don't trade gold, but yeah, we'll go look at gold. I love you, man. Wow, gold has been climbing up from our areas. Let's see. So I remember gold was giving a daily accumulation. So first, let's look at this. Okay, 50% and below. What do you have? Is internal liquidity. Okay, you have internal liquidity here. Then you have this inverted imbalance here. Okay, and then let's go to the daily. And then let's remove this fib since it's in the way. Or actually, I'm going to keep it there because I kind of want to see where it's from. Okay. Because I gave out this analysis last week, so I want to see how it played out. So we sweep internal liquidity. We did trade it into our inverted imbalance. We accumulated out of that area. And then on the 4-hour, we have this Fibonacci. And then, yeah, I did remember looking for some longs from below this low. And obviously, we didn't get that, so tragic. The longs were very nice. I was just looking for those Asian lows. I do remember that. And we were looking to trade back into this daily imbalance. Now look at the way, so we left this daily imbalance marked out. Look at the way we trade through it, but where do we come back to and accumulate from? Where do we come back to and accumulate from? Look at that inverted imbalance there. Okay, the imbalances that I like to pay attention to are the ones that are either a manipulation to sweep a low, okay, or the ones that follow a sweep of liquidity. Those are the ones that I really focus on. So for example, like this manipulation to create, to sweep the internal liquidity and come into this inverted imbalance, the imbalances in that leg I'm going to pay attention to. Okay. Those are the inverted imbalances that I mainly pay attention to. But we smacked those equal highs. Not yet, but we smacked these ones, relative highs, very nicely. Yeah, key imbalances for sure. For sure. Very clean on the longs on gold. I do see this going long some more depending on how the weekly closes. So, I'm not much of a gold trader. I'm not telling you guys to sit out till then. But here's my key areas. Okay, key areas. Imbalance there. Weekly imbalance there. Okay, maybe potential distributions for continuation to the downside. Okay. Or we close bullish here on the weekly and we just continue pumping. I'm more in the favors of pumping more, but we'll see what the week brings. Again, I'm not much of a gold trader, but if I had a gun to my head, that's where I'd be shooting for. That imbalance, see what happens within that imbalance, either continue or respect it and we fall. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Matt said, what do you think about those NAS longs, 5-minute accumulation in a 4-hour imbalance? That's the trade I took today when I went into a double imbalance on the 1 minute. I think that's beautiful. Anybody that went long today, no matter how you longed it, I went long right here initially on NAS. You guys will see it right here. I went long right there. And it fucking stopped me out. It stopped me out, actually. I went long right there. So it was like out of some accumulation here on the smaller time frame. And it just took right out. So it's totally fine. It did end up taking me out. I honestly didn't know that I was, if I was either in that position still or not. But okay, so this first initial, what really got me doing this long was this. Check this out. This initial accumulation on the 5-minute. Give me 1 second. I can't even hear my music. Hopefully it's playing. I don't know why my computer does that shit. Okay. 5-minute imbalance. 5-minute accumulation. But there wasn't any imbalance. So really looking at that range from that low to that high, 50% and below internal liquidity, boom. That's where the long idea came from. I did get clapped and then I went right to SPX. Yeah, I went right to SPX afterwards and I didn't even look at NAS anymore. But if anybody went long in this right here, oh my gosh, this right here, boom. 5-minute imbalance. Okay. Then you have to either find your breaker, your mitigation candle, or whatever it may have been. In this case, it was a mitigation. Well, you could say it's a mitigation candle because we had a failure to create another low, which was this one right here. Okay. Now, I'm not going to focus on the entirety of that candle. This is where my strategy comes in. And I focus on the overlap of confirmations. So now I have this mitigation candle and this imbalance here. Where those two overlap is the entry point for me to go long. Stop loss below the low of the imbalance. targeting previous daily high, weekly high that was already taken, or you can have targeted that previous daily high. I would have just targeted that already hit level of resistance, but that's just me. I like to play things like that. I like to leave my levels in the same spot for a long time. But that's really like how I would have played that. I think that's such a beautiful long. Anybody that went long was, wow, like you guys lived the trade that I was shooting for initially. My stop loss was just a little too tight on that, honestly. I kind of had a feeling as well, so that's why I switched to SPX. So it ended up playing out regardless. I'm super blessed. But yeah, barely stopped out. New to hopping onto these, but extremely grateful and excited to be here. Savannah, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you for showing the love. It means a lot. Matt said, barely stopped out. Nice. You still caught some longs. Yeah, for sure. NASDAQ did take its time. It was the bearish diverging asset today. So that's really why I stopped playing NASDAQ twice. It was mainly because I was like, okay, look, this is the weaker asset. If I keep throwing money at the weaker asset, I may be falling into some more liquidity traps. Okay, so that's really why I steered away from NASDAQ after I longed it once already and directed my attention toward SPX, which still was chilling below the previous daily low. So that was really, if SPX would have already taken that high out by the time I got stopped out on NASDAQ, I would not have played SPX. And I would have just stuck with that NASDAQ loss, and I would have took that loss for the day. So it just, criteria has to be met. You need to know your criteria very well, so that way you don't, because things like that, it's like planning. I have a plan for my plans not going according to plan, right? Like, it's just, you have to plan for your plans not going according to plan. Because, yeah, you have a trade, but what if that trade doesn't play out? Then you have to prepare yourself for that plan not to going according to plan. Because the market is unpredictable. So you have to know your criteria very well. So that way you can handle situations when things don't go as planned. Right? So, for sure, thanks for the knowledge, bro. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you guys tuning in week after week. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I think that bearish divergence made it take a minute as well, Matt. For sure, 100%. I agree with you. It's just the longs were just beautiful today. So if you guys longed it yesterday, today, last week, at any point, guys, like, congrats. This is some beautiful setups. Every week, back to back to back, we've had an abundance of opportunities to get into the market. Not just that, but we've had an abundance of opportunities to break down the market and learn from it, right? Because yesterday I may not have retrieved anything from the market other than a lesson. Okay, so sometimes that's all you get, and you have to be really happy with that. Anyways, guys, I am going to hop off, but I appreciate you guys for being here for another episode on Technical Tuesdays. Thank you guys for tuning in week after week, showing so much love, support, and honestly, like, you know, we're going to continue doing these more and more. I will see you guys on Friday for our Market Mentorship Overview. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern. I may start it sometimes at 10 a.m., but this time will be at 11 a.m. Eastern. Market Mentorship Overview every single Friday. And yeah, guys, clap easy, trade responsibly. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or observations, the link is on the description. You guys can reach out to me directly. I don't have a social media managing team or anything like that. You guys will reach me directly. So thank you guys for all love again, support. Take care, clap easy, and trade responsibly. Peace.